Do you often find yourself underneath your vehicle fixing it, and then realize it's a Ford? You're not alone. Welcome back. Thanks for meeting us out here at the, well, scene of the Raptor or the Crafter. Depends on the day. Today, I'm not so sure this is Ford's fault. Hey, and if you're new, my name's Uncle Jake. This here's Dr. Torque. Hang out, check it out, see if you like it. Welcome to the group, by the way. Today we're working on this truck right here. It's a 600 plus horsepower Raptor, but we were having some transmission trouble, and so that one over there is the original. Let's walk you through real quick what we got here. So we had some issues with the transmission, some serious ones, where it was clear that this transmission that's in there is kaput. Is that how our German friends say it? Kaput! And so what this guy did for me is he tracked down a used transmission, and it was from a F-150 that I didn't even know had an option to come with a 6.2 and this, which is the, what's this transmission this is on?
6R80.
Yeah, the R80, 6R80. So it did, so that was cool. Now it's got over 200,000 on it, but it's a lot of more gentle mileage than what was in the Raptor. You can understand why. And so we swapped that out. That transmission is in the Raptor. And then we put it in learning mode. And then I drove it. We'll insert a clip in a moment. And it sounded horrible. Can you hear it? It sounds terrible. Best thing I can come up with is when you're a kid and you have a BMX pedal bike and you skid to a stop in the gravel. That's the closest I could come to describing the sound. Hopefully it'll come through in the video. It was terrible. And it was apparent pretty quickly that it was not gonna learn. Basically, we're swapping the valve pack.
Valve body.
The valve, I always want to call it pack. I don't know why, but it's the valve body. We're swapping the valve body, and we're doing that because of those things that we might insert. We might just show you when we open this. There's so much that we have learned from Ford. So I think we'll just crack this one open, start getting some pieces out of it.
I don't know if just after years.
Okay. So this is a good chance to talk about what we have learned and what the problem is between the valve body, I keep going to call it valve pack, but the valve body that we swapped out and what my truck thinks it is. So these right here are the solenoids, is that what we're calling these babies?
Yes.
And these each have a rating from the factory, 1 through 5. And the best we can tell is that's after they produce the part, they test it, and 1 is a higher pressure rating. Is that right?
Lower.
Lower pressure rating, and 5 is higher. So, and then they're just put in random order, but then there's a sticker, a code that's generated that you then plug into the computer so that it knows, okay, this is a 1, I need to apply this much pressure, or this one's a 5, I have to apply less pressure, or however that works. And so the problem is that these are in different order in this original transmission than the one we put in there. And so sometimes the truck thinks, oh, one's rated as a 1. Well, now it's actually rated as a 5, or vice versa. And so that is why it's having a lot of trouble actually functioning and shifting. Do you think I explained that? Ford. So maybe it was a cool thing that they did so that you could get more parts out and not have to have them all with exact specifications, Ford, I guess.
When the solenoids used to be used, or when they were first introduced, they had to meet a really strict guideline as to how they functioned. But then they decided, well, these are sort of close, so we'll accept this wider range of functionality. And then we just need to know which version is in each of those spaces.
Our quality control sucks. We're losing 20% of our product.
How about we grade all the products on quality, and the crappy ones will just teach the computer to shift harder?
And so that's why we're swapping this out. And then there's some other things we found too, that Ford apparently, in the same transmission and newer rigs, changed. And if they do that, you know there's a problem. If Ford's willing to quietly change the way they build this, it's something to pay attention to. Which was what? There was a few things. It was different magnets. It was something to seal the connections on these solenoids, because they were getting they're getting a cross. What am I trying to say? Like shorted out almost.
Yeah,
like,
the electrical signal was being able to be transferred between them because of the metal in the fluid.
I'm excited by that because not only are we learning, but now we know what we need to do to make this better and as reliable as it can be. So let's keep going. Okay, so next steps are we got to take this out. And if you look here, see how there's different size heads on these screws or these bolts? The big ones are the ones that we have to take out. And then you've got to take out these 3 here. So those 3, but you start with this, especially if it's hanging upside down, you don't.
And those are the locations of the ones we need to take out. Those are the locations.
Cool. And then we take those out. Then we have to pull. This is a clip that comes out that allows you to take this piece out.
Start with this.
Do we start with this?
And then this. And then the bolts.
Apparently that breaks a lot. So we need to swap that out. So if you're doing this, plan on getting a new one of those. And then there was a new, what else? What was the other one there? There was like a new.
It's a seal right under here.
Oh, a seal, that's right.
We can see just the side of it right here.
You can see the side.
But we'll see it after we pull the valve body off.
Okay. So to take this out.
So
after this is up, this then just pulls out, right?
Just pulls out.
It's just that simple. Flick a switch and pop it out. It's the magic, man.
There's 2 O-rings, I believe, in here to keep it in place. And it doesn't always want to release.
Oh,
whoa! This thing here that needs to be aligned. If you can see that.
Yep.
And then there's 2 little ears, I guess, in there.
Right here.
Here.
In here.
Something that makes it so this will go back down.
Yeah,
if you don't have it all the way in, this won't go back down. So.
Yeah. So good.
So we've made progress.
There you go. We're figuring it out. So it's easier if you have to do this, or hopefully just entertaining at the very least. Look at all
Thought
that
maybe we would try to take them off.
slag and crap. I can't get over that. Look at that. Where did the crap did all that come from? It's everywhere.
Manufacturing process.
Crazy. Ford. We'll take apart one of your Dodges one of these days, and we'll see how awesome it is. And I hope it's awesome too. I'm not wishing poorly.
If you want to know what a Dodge transmission looks like inside, just go ahead and look at Yoshimoshi's 727 teardown video.
Oh, that's right. Check him out. He got some cool stuff. He's some sort of engineer or something. Sends things up into space. Crazy. If you're taking these out properly, these are much longer. Those will go all the way through this.
Yeah, the long ones are the ones you're after.
Yeah, the long ones.
But you don't know that until you pull it.
Until you pull it. But the long ones, and then here, these are shorter, right? Those were a little shorter?
Yes.
Those were not there.
No, they're over
here.
Over here where it makes sense for me.
That makes sense. And again, I don't know if it's that obvious, but kind of. These heads are bigger than those, kind of.
I went off of my chart. I didn't want to go like, this seems to be the right one.
Yeah. What we're doing right now is trying to figure out where we can put a drain plug in this so that this is way easier than, because when you do this in your truck, the procedure is just start dropping some of these bolts and just let it spill out over the side. What a mess. Not only a mess, but we just changed the transmission fluid now. It's brand new. We didn't change it. It's brand new. So we don't want to waste that. So what we're doing here is we're looking to see, because this is the lowest point, right?
Right.
So there's two parts here. I don't want it to be something sticking out that can catch on brush or crap like that, but we also want the lowest point. And then when you pull this off, we don't want to hit this in any way. So what we're thinking is that this back side...
Front.
Is that the front? Oh, yes. Right, it's front. There's the valve. Yeah, this front side would be the best.
And so we're going to drain the other transmission that's in the truck by drilling a hole there.
Yeah. We're gonna go drill a hole in the pan of our transmission. How much fun is that gonna be? Hope it works. It'll work.
It'll work.
Right? It'll work. It'll be good. We're gonna be fine. Normally, that would be concerning to drill a hole in something. You broke his drill bit in the thing?
Yep.
How come there's no fluid coming out?
There is a tiny bit of fluid coming out.
Oh, that's because this has a suction, remember? It's got a vacuum, so we have to...
So we need to find a 19mm wrench, but I also broke the drill bit off in the hole.
Inside? Oh. Do you often find yourself underneath your vehicle fixing it, and then realize it's a Ford?
I work on
You're
Ford
not
way
alone.
more than anything else.
And it's not your fault. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Plug.
Fixed.
Now we're done. We don't have to worry about the hole.
We
We
can
can go
drain this
driving.
anytime we want now.
So now we got to crack the fill plug. It's not a drain plug. No, not this. You take that out.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, push it. Push it real good. Is 3
that's
notes
pretty
too many?
good. Yeah, that's a good question. That's actually not bad. Can you see that?
I can't see it.
Look, that's coming out pretty good. Looks like it's peeing.
Richard drills a 1/2-inch hole in, but he doesn't trust us with anything anywhere close to that big.
That's hilarious. You don't want to hit anything on this bucket and knock out. You don't want any turbulence to fall in
Out
here.
of my way too.
There we go. We've done it. We've gotten the fluid out, the screw back in. Boy, I really like this color. And then we've got a clean bucket without hitting the side. Anything like tight clearance. You got to like move it around stuff to get it out. But we did it without getting any dirt. So I'm trying to say, dirt falling down the bucket. So now we get this out of the way, take the pan down, and keep it moving. There was a fair amount in that filter.
Yeah.
Still. We've gotten a couple important things. Besides the pan down, and we didn't get fluid all over, we checked the number on the bottom of this now. So now we have that completed, in case we have to run codes on this or whatever, but now we're gonna check this, pull out the bolts, and drop that down, and then compare them on the bench, and see if we have two identicals that we can swap out, even though they're different years, which is what we're hoping. And we'll find out by those ports or holes or whatever the heck they were. Okay, so we've got everything taken out except for one bolt. And you can see, as soon as this thing tilts, and some of the seals kind of come apart in there, and it starts angling, you start getting a lot more draining. So it's important to just let it go. You pop that, leave one partially in, and then let her drain for a while. Or a long while. So be patient. That's all right, that's fine.
That had to happen.
That did have to happen, actually. Okay, that's fine. We knew that. That's that check valve.
Oh yeah,
and in this
we knew
one,
that was gonna happen.
all those plugs stayed in, and there's something in all of them.
Uh-oh.
All right, we got it out. The valve body, is that right?
Valve body.
Yeah, I did it right. And so now the question, if you remember, was, well, we came up with a question you didn't see. 4 holes here, nothing in this one, no plug, right? Then we looked on this one on the bottom, no seal. Well, it is a seal, except it doesn't do anything.
There's one of these right here in that transmission.
Yeah.
But there wasn't in this one. But it goes nowhere. There's no hole here. There's nothing in the bottom of the hole there for it to flow to.
Do anything. So
these are not doing anything.
So good, I guess. Well, it looks like we can
continue.
proceed, which is good. Something important. You see this right here? Do you know what this is? This is a check valve, I guess is what you'd call it. And what it does is it prevents the transmission fluid from going through the transmission cooler up to your, like that little one. We've got a transmission cooler in the front of the radiator there, until your transmission gets to a certain temperature. It does that for emissions and fuel economy and stuff, right? So if you go to a transmission shop and they're like, hey, we'll do a flush and we'll do it from these lines, they're only flushing the lines. They might run enough transmission fluid through it that they say they flushed the whole thing, but if your transmission is not up to temperature, it won't do anything. This valve right here, I'm gonna put that back, keeps the whole line closed. It's a big ripoff. Unless there's a shop that's willing to monitor the actual temperature and they'd have to take it out and drive it around to get that temperature up. I mean, so just be aware. Don't do that. Just say no to that one. So, pro tip. All right, and now, another one. So see how this is so loose? Remember, this is upside down, and there's no way to hold that. But is there? There is a way. You take this disgusting looking slimy stuff and you goop it up and you slide it up and then you smear it over the top of it, like just cake it. It'll once it warms up, it'll all flush out of there. And that'll hold it in long enough, hopefully, to get this valve pack. You see, I'm starting to say it right now, the valve pack.
Body.
Oh my gosh, I can't do it. This is a pretty good transmission. There's some good to it, but we're learning about some weaknesses of this thing.
Well, this transmission is actually based on a German ZF design.
German ZF?
ZF is the manufacturer. They have a long German name, 2 names. One starts with a Z and one starts with an F. And I can't remember what it is and probably couldn't say it right anyway, but ZF has this, and they put them in BMWs and Volvos and Audis and all sorts of European crap.
Really?
And Ford started putting them in some of the Expeditions and Explorers or something. I don't remember. But then they got a license from ZF to manufacture their own in the United States based on ZF's design.
So I guess what I would say is it's good in that it's a heavier duty transmission.
Yes, this is the 80. It ends with 80, which means it's designed to withhold up to, I think, 800 Newton meters of force, if I understand correctly.
Newton meters of force.
A certain amount of torque. And so this is a way better than, like, let's say
it goes down to 75
there's a 60.
Hold on. R60, R75, R80. So at least we got the biggest one.
The torque converter, we need to get a better one, and then the intermediate shaft I think we should replace with a higher quality intermediate shaft.
Okay.
And we have higher quality clutches and steels coming.
Okay.
And those and then a shift kit. I think that's the plan.
Oh,
look, I can spin
Holy
your
smokes!
Look, it's all turning.
Whoa, look at that. That is cool, isn't it? A different ratio up front there. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's actually pretty dang neat.
And just do it.
It's cool. Our transmission's really fascinating, though.
Doesn't? Oh, it goes the other way too.
And it totally spins the opposite direction. That goes both directions, and then reverse spins it that way. Weird.
Neat.
Transmissions are cool. I'm really starting to become more and more fascinated by them. I'll be glad when this is done and we get to work on it when it's up on a bench. When it's up on a bench, it's fun. When it's on the bottom of the truck, it's more challenging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we get to do the more challenging part now.
Yes. Okay.
We've done the easy taking apart part.
Yep.
Now we have to do the harder putting
this
back
is
together
cool.
part.
This is good. We're going to put this back in. The truck's actually going to recognize what it is, even though it's tried to relearn other weird crap. So we're going to have to go through that again. But whatever. At least this time it'll adjust based on what's actually in the transmission.
It's only for Jake.
And it's only for Jake. So that's good. So let's keep it moving.
Yes. Let's.
That's fine. That's fine. We got this. That goes in.
Shut up.
Hey, it's staying for a second. Okay.
Oh, it's lining up too.
Is it?
Maybe. Why is it not lining up though?
Yeah, what's not going together here?
Exactly. Dripping.
Yeah, that. So,
Is it a line?
let's see. This is the back, just like that. Okay, so when we were putting this, I'm really close there. We're putting this back together. Those 3 seals I'll show you on the bench over there kind of cause this to rock. But once you get it in, it pulls up nice and tight, and you're good. That's a part of the show where Uncle Jake gets to make sure we do these in the right order.
Loses his mind.
Yeah. So I'm lining this up, and I think the best way is to take that notch down there and line it up here. And then we look up here, we got these 3 bolts with an arrow. So the first one is this one, if we're doing that right, that one right there. Yeah.
The one's not tight at all.
The one that's not tight at all, that's number 1. Okay?
Okay.
And then number 2 is off the corner of that right there.
This one right here?
Yes. Woo! Put an actual drain plug. Look at that. Looks great. Sweet drain plug installed. All right, pan is up, and we're gonna be torquing these suckers, these little puppies, and then we can put the fluid back in. So we are making progress. Whew, keep going. Okay, testing time. So we got the pan and the fluids in. Hopefully it's not over full, but that's what we gotta do. You fill it up, take it for a drive, come back and check and make sure it's good. This thing's probably gonna drive weird, but it is moving, but it's relearned to try to compensate for what was wrong in there after it had compensated for what was worn out prior to that. What's that? Seatbelt. It's just a seatbelt. So we're gonna drive this around the block a little bit here. Turn that off so it's not annoying. And go back and check the fluid. Then try to get it to go into learning mode and see if we have ourselves a turkey dinner. Okay. Well, it's moving, so that's good. Wait till we get it up to temperature. That's good. Ooh, tough shift into fourth. So far so good, so we'll keep this driving, but I mean, this is good. We go back, we check the fluid, then we do the learning, and then we see what happens. So almost there, man. We're almost there. Tom's back. It is the next day, as you could probably tell, because it's not dark. So we did not get done last night. However, today I do have some important test results for you. If you are wondering if those solenoid numbers matter when programming a computer, if your computer doesn't know what they are, is it a big deal? I can tell you definitively, oh yes it does. Now that we've swapped that out, it's like a night and day difference. It drives already really well. It has some learning to do because of course it learned to try to compensate for the wrong silly numbers and pressures in there. So big difference, big deal. Super happy. I hope if you have this problem, this helps. Stay tuned for the bloopers if that's something you're into. We also use the thumbs up and thumbs down to tell us not whether you like the video so much, but I like to know whether you want more of one content or another, just whatever. Just if you want to ask us a question, ask us down below. I always like to say, have yourself a great rest today. Go do something nice for somebody, and then do something nice for yourself, and it'll feel like 10 times as good. You know what I'm saying? So we love you. On behalf of Motors Mischief, it's Uncle Jake. Check out some other videos. Make yourself home. If you're new, I'm going to take you out with the fist bump of friendship. Whoop-ow. Who's calling? Is it Opportunity? Opportunity knocks. It doesn't call.
Dude, this is the 21st century. Opportunity doesn't exist.
It doesn't even exist? Oh, that went from funny to sad.
Oh, are you filming
In
me?
for a second. We will leave that part out.
Yeah, let's leave that part out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I can't get stupid creeper.
Come on.
In the nut. No, well, the nut. No. I have some sort of a problem. I know in my head the difference between a nut and a bolt, but when it comes out my mouth, it never comes out correctly.
What is this?
I don't know.
It's a nut.
Hey. That's it.
That's going to end up in bloopers.
That's a blooper.